everyone, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Danielle. I'm an American expat living in Germany, and today we're going to be diving into another cultural video, and this one is going to be all about things that I would recommend you not doing in Germany to avoid conflict, whether you're a tourist or an expat, as well as things that were surprisingly against the law to me as an American. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first one that was the most surprising to me, and this is something I actually heard from a lawyer friend of mine who was an expat from New Zealand. So she had like the worst experiences living in the neighborhood that I used to live in. Like she would just have, like, it was just a very old, grumpy German person area. It was in Munich. It was a really rich part of Munich. We lived in one of the apartment blocks there. And she would just have like the worst encounters. I had a lot of really bad encounters with grumpy old people as well in that area, but like hers were just so bad. Like I don't know why, but she got picked on like a lot. She was just telling one of her stories about, you know, someone being disrespectful and being rude as usual. And I was like, man, that one was bad. I'm like, I think I would have given them the finger for that one. And she's like, no, don't ever do that in Germany. She's like, it's actually against the law. And I didn't even believe her at first. I was like, that's against the law? Seriously? Because as an American, honestly, you flip somebody the bird in your car like all the time. Like it's just one of those very casual acts of aggression that we've all kind of agreed is like the civilist way to cope with road rage. Here's just what it says when you look it up. The gesture is simply considered very rude, basically the most offending gesture I personally know. You could actually even go to jail, apparently, for flipping somebody the bird in Germany, which is, as an American, just plain bizarre. So if you happen to find yourself in a situation where somebody really pissed you off, make sure to not give them the bird. I know as an American, it almost comes instinctual, so just be careful. If you are in Germany, do not recycle incorrectly. If you get caught recycling incorrectly, somebody who might be recycling next to you will call you out. Pretty simple, but Germans take their recycling pretty seriously, and also it's just annoying to the people who, you know, do the recycling and sort everything out. It's pretty easy. They make it really easy for you to recycle properly, so just really pay attention to the signs on the bin and you'll be fine. Try not to be late. Now, I wouldn't say that you will get like totally called out for being late. Germans tend to be more punctual than others, and if you are late for like a dentist appointment or something like that, you might get like a scold or something like that, but I just wouldn't do it, you know? Like if you can avoid being late for anything in Germany, just try to avoid it because it's just such a rare thing. Like there's not really too many people who are like known to be fashionably late here. They're just very punctual people. They say something's gonna happen at a certain time, it happens. Of course, like things happen and traffic issues happen, but Germans just always manage to bypass issues by saying, they think of every scenario that could possibly go wrong to make sure that they are on time. So I've always been like that too. I'm an American and I really hate being late. Okay, this is such a big one. Do not walk in the cycling lanes. Usually on the sidewalks or even kind of like on the streets, there will be a separate part of the sidewalk that is designated for cycling. I did this so much when I first moved here. I just thought it was a big old sidewalk. No, there's usually like a little cycling person painted into that part of the lane, and it's just so annoying for Germans because like it's like their lane, you know, like they're just focused on making sure that they get somewhere as fast as possible on their bike, and it's so great that we have things like that because in America we just don't. But also just be aware that if you don't get out of the way, they will get pretty close to running you over and not even feel bad about it because you were in the cycling lane. It's quite serious. Like I would just really recommend paying attention, making sure you're not walking in the cycling lane. When you first get here, it's just something you have to be aware of, especially if you're a tourist. You might get run over by a bike. The next one is kind of obvious. I wouldn't recommend anybody doing this in any part of the world, but in Germany we have an interesting train checking system. You could get away with not having a ticket, like people try to do it all the time, but I just wouldn't recommend it because the fine is pretty hefty. I think it's like 60 euro or something like that, when it's not even expensive to ride the trams here, and I think it's worth paying for the ticket. I have had times where I forgot to put my new monthly ticket in, and it's just the most annoying thing ever because it is quite a hefty fine compared to like how cheap the public transport could be. So yes, you could get away with like a free ride, you know, on the public transport because they don't have like a ticket system to like make you, like with BART and in San Francisco and Paris and stuff like that. I remember you have like, I think London too, you have like a little machine where you put your ticket in and then it comes out the other side. In Germany, it's not like that. There's actually, like, I would have to say though, probably like 80% of the time, maybe even higher, there's nobody there to check your ticket. But if you run into the situation where you did not pay, it's super embarrassing because you get like called out. Like the people come and they always look like normal people. They come and they like call you out on it, and then they make you get off the next stop, and then they fine you, and it takes forever, and then you have to pay 60 euros. So just don't do it. I've never done it, but I have seen it happen to other people just trying to get a free ride. So just be aware, like, it might seem like you can get away with not having to pay for your ride, but they're so cheap, and it's really embarrassing and really expensive if you get caught. So just bear that in mind. Next is a pretty big one. Now, I don't have any personal experiences with this, but well, kind of. I just don't have any like major ones, but there have been times where I have sort of wanted to, I guess you could say, gossip or complain about something somebody did, or Germany or Germans or something like that, to like my expat friends. And sometimes we'll talk really loud because I'm an American, so I talk really loud. And sometimes you kind of think, oh, because we're in Germany, nobody understands what I'm saying anyway, so you forget, and then you just speak really loud, or you say something super offensive or super embarrassing and personal. Germans actually, like, a lot of the time speak pretty good English, so if you happen to insult them or their country, or you say something that's kind of personal out loud, and you think like, oh, they're German, they don't understand me, they probably understood you. I've had it happen to me a few times where I haven't really insulted Germans like gossiping, but I have had it happen where I was talking about like personal things with friends. Like I'm a doula, so I talk about birth and placentas, and we were talking about it over lunch because we're doulas and stuff like that. And this guy who was sitting next to us just looked like so sick to his stomach, and I was like, maybe we should talk quieter. So just be aware, like, just because you're in Germany and you're speaking English doesn't mean that Germans don't understand you. A lot of the time they're eavesdropping and they understand you, and sometimes I feel like they listen just for the heck of it and just for the fun if they're eating by themselves. So just something to be aware of. Okay, so this one is more for expats, but do not disrespect the quiet hours. So if you live in an apartment or you live anywhere in Germany, don't mow the lawn on Sundays. After a certain time of the day, don't drill holes into the wall. Don't drill holes into the wall on Sundays either. You will get complaints, and you will even get fines. And in a lot of apartment blocks, there will be a sign that tells you you cannot make a ruckus at certain hours of the day. It's very, very, like I said, Germans like to keep the peace. It's just how they roll. So just be aware, you got to get your stuff done in a certain time frame. You just got to learn how to be more efficient with your time. My biggest one would be to never go anywhere without a jacket, possibly even an umbrella. I don't go everywhere with an umbrella, but it's sometimes a good idea if you're planning on being out the whole day. German weather is extremely unpredictable. Make sure you're prepared for everything and anything, no matter what time of the year it is. Just be prepared. That's all I have to say. Just layer up. I don't always take my own advice, but that's my advice to you. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you did. Also, a big one, which I've already talked about in another video, you guys can go watch that video. It was my German culture shocks. Do not go into the saunas with your bikinis on. The whole story is in another video. I'm not going to go into it on this one, but I would say that one's a pretty big no-no. So yeah. Like I said, I hope you guys have a great day, and leave me comments if you have any requests or if you have anything that you think I missed that was really important, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!
On this journey, what are we saying? Making excuses, no. Tell all the people we know we're getting ready to go. It's time. Life is passing by. Any, mini, money, mo. Pick a place and there we'll go. Work this jungle like a